Hello everyone, it's Vicky Verley here, Rock and Roll Prophecies. We're going to take a look today at the new moon in Cancer on June 27th, 2014. Alright, when I open this chart and look at it, it's everything, all signs point to Pluto over here. Everything, Pluto is just really standing out to me, and all these different things are kind of pointing over there. So what is going on is this, this Pluto-Uranus square, which is actually kind of in a wider orb anymore. And then there's also with the Mars. The tighter aspect is the Mars opposed Uranus at 16 and 16 here. So that's, well, Mars, Uranus, Pluto, that's a continuation of a lot of this sort of volatile energy. Energy for change. And also, again, with the Mars, Uranus, it's energy for change. I would say that's not, people who are Mars, Uranus, people are not going to be very reasonable. People are going to be, some radical things could happen. Some, freedom fighting, demonstrations. We want our freedom with Uranus, Mars. We're not gonna be peaceful about it. We want things to happen. We want it now. And then there's also again the element of the instantaneous. The Uranus being this instant access, tweets and videos going out all over the place. So it's good in a way because of course we can't hide anything anymore. But it can be pretty volatile, and it's almost like it's sort of a violence aspect. And I would say that there's a potential for demonstrations to turn to violence, or some tempers flaring, or things could escalate and get out of control at the drop of a hat. But all pivoting on Pluto. And really, when I first opened this pyramid or this diamond shape kind of pointing at Pluto, I didn't really feel all that. It sort of felt like sort of harmonious, but they are squares, and it's all squares hitting here. But Pluto just seems to be the way. So it's kind of I would say it's more a wake-up call to the old establishment, the old Capricorn establishment. So the way out is for the old establishment to allow for new thought, new ideas. Uranus is, for everybody, one for all, for the humanitarian, for the people. And Uranus and Aries is the individuals joining together to bring out, the positive stuff. The actual new moon point itself, though, let's get up before we get too far off on this Pluto stuff, is at 5 degrees of Cancer, which is trining Neptune. And what else we got going on? Let's check the aspectarian. Trine Neptune, they have it as opposed Pluto. I would put that as a fairly too over wide orb, 7 degrees. I think that's a little bit too wide of an orb there. But it is over here with the Venus Juno aspect here. Now, again, I always forget, is that an inconjunct or semi-sextile? But that's there too, at the 4 or 5 degree mark. So we got a trine to Neptune. We've got Venus Juno. Now that's all. Venus Juno, that's pretty much about beauty. Juno was the goddess of love and beauty. Venus, of course, rules over love and beauty. So there's an element of that. And it's square to Neptune. That's also squaring Neptune there. Venus squared Neptune, along with Juno. So that vibe makes me feel like you could be fooled. It's like the snake oil salesman, but it's like the illusion of beauty and love. Because a lot of times that's what Neptune is. It's that romanticizing of everything, and it's hitting the Venus Juno. So I feel like you could be over idealized, over romanticized. I mean, I feel like it could be a fall in love aspect maybe, but this, I don't know about the Uranus Mars thing. Well, I'll say, okay, let's relate it to relationships. Say you do meet somebody, and you are struck by them, and you are taken by their beauty, whatever. It doesn't have to be physical beauty, the beauty of their soul with Neptune. Uranus Mars could say, okay, you can meet them out of nowhere. It could just happen suddenly out of nowhere. And Mars could say there'd be an intense, Mars and Pluto could say there would be an intense sexual attraction. But sometimes I don't, Mars, Uranus, I'd be concerned whether it could be a lasting thing. And also there's this element of illusion here. And this could not only apply to relationships. This could be anything. Is Mercury still retrograding? Where is that Mercury? Yeah, Mercury is retrograding. Like I'm feeling like even a car. Like this could be relating to a car. Of course, you don't want to buy a car when Mercury retrograde anyway, but like this, it looks, you fall in love with, you want this certain model car, and it looks so good, it looks so nice, but then, you know, it's like, oh, there's going to be major unexpected problems, or electrical or wiring problems, which could also be another element of this. And another element of this as well could be like electrical storms, or, you know, the lightning striking things, and, you know, that kind of vibe. So there's this element of sudden, you know, eruptions and violence, and electricity could definitely be involved with Uranus there. Or another thing it could be is your battery dying in the middle of in the middle of making a video. No, but what I was seeing with that, I was feeling like lightning striking maybe phone towers, or some kind of, like, you know, electrical metal towers getting struck by lightning or something, and maybe causing a little bit of a problem. But let's get right down to the actual new moon. I keep getting sidetracked here. It is in the sign of Cancer, and it is trine Neptune. So this would be a time of great nurturing, beauty, food, Cancerian, family reunions, family get-togethers, reaching out towards family if there's been a riff or a tiff or whatever you want to call it. And maybe with the Neptune too, it could again just be a misunderstanding. You know, with all this uprising here, you may get carried away, and Neptune in Cancer, Pisces Cancer also, compassion. I would say compassion would be a very strong element there. And being a new moon, of course, it is a new beginning. So these are new beginnings that we want to make. You know, there's a lot of retrogrades going on. Besides Mercury, we've got Neptune in retrograde, Chiron in retrograde. What else is retrograding? Oh, the nodes are always retrograding. Pluto's retrograding. Saturn's retrograding. So lots of planets are retrograding now too. So of course this is kind of going over your past stuff. Cancer is, well, it's your mother. You know, some of you have a good time to call your mom, see your mom, talk to your mom, or you as the mother, you as the, even not mother necessarily, but you as the nurturer, you as the caring, turning over a new leaf that I want to be more caring, I want to be more compassionate. With that Neptune, I'm just feeling a very strong, also creative vibe here, like a strong connection to creativity. So I think this could be a highly creative time for people out there who are prone to that, or, you know, lean that way. You could really be channeling some spirit stuff, or healing through art, even if it's not for no one but yourself. Healing through creativity. Healing. This was something which I've been meaning to do. I want to do a bunch of pictures of all the visions and crazy stuff that happened while I was in the hospital. I still haven't done it. So maybe by then it'll be a good day to get on it and do it. Also, you know, these ongoing things, we've still got Saturn trining Chiron, both retrograde, Pisces, Scorpio. So healing of, you know, Scorpio's the deep dark stuff, but it's also like sexual stuff. So these could be relationships with your old lovers, or even if any of you have gone through any, you know, sexual traumas in your life, this could be maybe a good time to kind of come to terms or come to grips with it. Yeah, compassion, but maybe you do have some anger there. Maybe there is still anger and rage that has to be expressed or dealt with. You know, that could definitely be part of it as well. Now Jupiter is still in Cancer, but it's getting to the end of the line here, and it's going to be making a transit into Leo. But it's still, even though it's not an orb, you know, even though it's 5 degrees and 25 degrees, it's way, you know, 20 degrees out of orb there. There still is, it's the boost of it. You're getting a boost from Cancer, from Jupiter. The Cancer new moon is getting a boost from Jupiter. And this is going to be, you know, the last one for 12 years, that we're going to have a new moon in Cancer, along with Jupiter, the power of Jupiter being there as well. So I would say that would probably be the most powerful energy. And as I've said many times, you know, these Pluto-Uranus square and these outer planets, these are long-term, slow-moving things. These are not things that are going to be, they're slow-moving, so they come in slow, they leave slow. They, the changes that are made, the effects they have on us, are seen over a longer period of time or a slower period of time. So it's not going to be, quick. But then these inner moving planets, this is more quick here. It is more quick. I wanted to address the Venus and Juno thing over here one more time, because that just kind of pulled me back in right away. Venus and Gemini, it's the words. It's beautiful words. And if you do have issues with somebody, if you are trying to make a change here, it's the old, you can catch more flies with honey thing. Sweetness. Sweetness will get you a lot further. Compliment somebody. Be kind to somebody. Say something nice to somebody. Also, it's that, pick up the phone. I know we don't use phones as much anymore any time, but send somebody a note or a message or a text or something. Just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you, or how you doing, or whatever. That's that Venus and Gemini. It's also being social, being out, getting out and about, being socialized, being around people, mix and mingling, chatting it up, Also, if you want to look at it a little bit on the negative side, there could be, you could get sweet talked. I think I mentioned that a little earlier with this Neptune thing, that you could get sweet talked, or, watch out for those snake oil salesmen, because it's Neptune energy. Also, you could put qualities on somebody that they don't really have with this Venus-Neptune stuff, especially Neptune reverse. Looking at the rose-colored glasses, don't build somebody up, don't make fantasies in your mind about somebody, and then you'd be disappointed when they turn out that they're less than perfect, or they're only human, Try to see people for what they really are, Psychic and intuitive stuff should be very strong on that day. Great day to, maybe get a reading, or just some kind of divination of your own, or I would be recording my dreams, ask for a dream. I feel like a lot of people are going to be open, spirit communication, and that's definitely going to be flowing. There'll be a lot of flow happening with that. This is what I wanted to see. What's going on here? Pallas is at 12 degrees, exactly trining Pluto. So Pallas is that, inventive, new way of thinking, not going about things the old way. But see, okay, you can't just, with Mars and Uranus here, you can't just say, okay, I want change, I want this, I want that, without offering solutions. Okay, so the old way isn't working. Well, what's the alternative? If you present a viable alternative, then maybe you have a better chance of getting these old Pluto, Saturn vibrations to make some changes. And that's what I like about this trine to Pallas, because this is new thought, new innovative ideas. And it's getting through, it's cutting through, it's piercing through all this chaos. It's a nice trine. So I feel like there is some hope. Could be some hope there. And then where would the third part of that be? Would be Taurus. There's nothing there. It would be somewhere over here. If you have a planet at 12 degrees of Taurus, this could be very significant for you. Between Pallas, Pluto, and your 12-degree Taurus natal placement, this could be a big thing. This could be a big awakening, or a new way of thinking or a new way of doing things could come to some long-standing problems that you may be facing. Something that's been very long-standing. Okay, along with Mars over here, we do have Vesta and Ceres. So again, it's always back to that home, hearth, and food, and the new moon in Cancer. It all ties into nurturing, food, feeding, nurturing. So there could be maybe some breakthroughs with, the Feed the Children just popped into my mind, or organizations like that. Maybe there could be some breakthroughs or some things happening like that. Or, Pallas, maybe there's an inventive way to redistribute food or do things to help people, feed people, and especially people with children, with the Cancer. That's the mother and the child, feeding, and these images pop into my mind of the people who are, starving. It's so crazy how people would be starving in this world. And look at the food we throw away. There's got to be a more inventive idea about how to deal with that. With this, though, I'm kind of feeling like this is solving their problems in their community. It's not like shipping food in from elsewhere. It's building the wells, or digging the wells. It's teaching them to farm or create viable soil, or amend the soil and things like that. It's more like that kind of vibe than it is about. I'm not feeling of hero. Here I am to save the day. It's that teach a man to fish again thing. Teach a man to fish. Give a man a fish and they eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and they eat for the rest of their life. So it's kind of that. It's like teaching them to fish or teaching them to garden more, or having to do with agriculture and gardening and stuff. That's kind of more the vibe, and dealing with growing food, particularly growing food. Also, with the Cancer, it just stood out to me maybe something about milk. Maybe something could come up about milk. I sure hope it's nothing negative, but that just popped at me like something having to do. I saw like cow's udders and milk, so maybe something in milk, or maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's some kind of supplement you can drink with milk, or it may be something good. But milk just kind of popped out at me out of nowhere. That was so random and weird. Okay, so yeah, new moon, and very powerful new moon, the last one we're going to have with this power of Jupiter in Cancer for 12 more years. But ongoing stuff, especially with this Mars, this T-square with Mars, Pluto, and Uranus here. And a lot of these planets in retrograde too. So planets in retrograde also are like, it can be hard to get things done. It's hard to make progress, not only with Mercury retrograde, but all the other planets that we mentioned earlier. With, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune. They're all retrograding over here. So hard to move forward. It's like trying to move forward in quicksand. You take 2 steps forward and it takes twice the effort to make motions. Good time to go over the past and amend things from the past. Rethink things from the past. With all the water and everything, it could be in your personal life, having to do with your own emotions and your personal lives. But with these bigger planets, it could be more on a global scale. And there's got to be better ways to feed people. There's got to be. And I don't understand what's the holdup, what's the blockage here. Why would we want to block that, or who is blocking that, or why? No doubt it has to do with old school money stuff, oil or whatever, that type of old mentality. Why don't we want to have, so many things that could be beneficial to humanity? And a lot of it always boils down to somebody in this 1% is going to lose some millions, and that's not going to fly anymore with Uranus in Aries here. Because the individuals are the most important. They're rising up and uniting as one with that. And again, the Mars. Well, the one saving grace about this Mars is that it is in the sign of Libra, which is, there could be a lot of worse things than that. Libras are the most diplomatic. They are the least, I would say, confrontational energy out of all the zodiac. Maybe next to Pisces, but they're not confrontational. Libra energy does want justice and equality, does want things fair. And I would say that Mars in Libra is fighting for fairness, fighting for this justice to be done and things to be done fairly. So that is something that is going for it. I mean, it could be, like what if it was Mars in Aries in its own sign, or Mars in Scorpio, or some of the more volatile signs. Then you could really be looking at some crazy energy. So Mars in Libra is nice. The North Node in Libra is nice too. Because the North Node in Libra is, we do want to reach that fair equality. And Libras, they won't hurt. They don't like to hurt people. Sometimes they're overly nice. They'll go out of their way just to be nice. They're not like a Scorpio that'll sting you or hurt you or cut you, or Aries who will cut you without even, not because they're, it's because they just don't think. They just act and don't think about it. Or Sagittarius sometimes can say things without thinking. Libras are always, Libra energy is kindness, fairness, being nice to people, striving for everybody to get something they want. Compromise. Let's have a compromise. Everybody gets something they want. No one person or one idea or one energy force is going to rule. Libra wants to say, well, okay, you get this and then I get this. And we come to an agreement where everybody can be happy and everybody can be fair. So we've got this cardinal energy going on here, and soon after, the sun is going to get up there and join in. It'll hit that 12, and we're going to have that big grand cross activated again, which has been going on and on and on. But I really like the vibe of this new moon in Cancer. I like that it's trining the Neptune. I like that Venus and Juno are involved. The only thing I keep coming back to is I just feel like you could get, it's like a snow job, you could get the world pulled over your eyes. And I would be careful about how things look pretty. And that's not just through physical prettiness. If it sounds too good to be true, then maybe it is. That's something you want to consider, especially with Mercury retrograding too. But overall, it's a nice vibe. Cancer energy, healing, mothering, nurturing, food, with the power of Jupiter. That's going to be more powerful than any of this at this time, because we have the power of Jupiter in there and because we have this powerful new moon. So, it's very good. I feel it can be very good. And again, like I'm saying, with the Libra energy, that tones it down somewhat. Really, it's about going into the past and not repeating the past mistakes. If I had to put this in a nutshell, because of all the retrograde stuff and the Chiron and the Saturn and everything, not repeating the same mistakes over again. Being honest with yourself. And people, not just people, but let's be honest about things that have happened in our government or whatever the case may be. Let's be honest about it. So you make a mistake. Don't try to deny it or let the ego take over and like, oh, no, I didn't do that or I didn't say that. Okay, I said it. I was wrong. I always come back to that Maya Angelou quote of, when you know better, you do better. And if we could all just take that a little bit of humility and just say, okay, I've made mistakes, but I've grown and I've changed. And I wanna grow and change, and I wanna do things differently, not from here on out. I'm not going to defend or try to deny things that mistakes I've made in the past, in personal relationships or whatever they may be, or just us as a people in general. That's how you learn. You make mistakes, you learn. Just like Thomas Edison said, he didn't fail at the light bulb. He just learned whatever it was, 150 ways about how to not make a light bulb. So by these mistakes, we're learning how to not make peace, or how to not make equality for people. So these are things that have been wronged, and maybe we can right them. Because overall, this Pluto changes always are for the best. Once you're through them, they always are. If you've had some Pluto, I've had major Pluto transits, in my life because of all my Scorpio and Capricorn stuff. So I've been getting nailed by Pluto for years now. And looking back, the things that were ripped out of my life, or that Pluto brought an end to, or died, because it's death, I can see now in hindsight that for the most part it probably was the right thing, and it did. I am better off because of it, even though it was painful to go through at the time and everything. So these changes are necessary, and they're going to happen. So you can fight them, or you can go with them. You can be against it. You can be a naysayer, or you can get on board and offer solutions. I can't stand naysayers. Oh, no. Well, okay, no. Then come up with a better idea. Offer solutions. Don't always be naysayers and haters against everybody, because that's what Pallas trining this Pluto's telling us. There could be some new thought, new ideas. Offer some solutions instead of just trying to put the other guy down all the time. And in your personal life too, try to reach a compromise. Offer some solutions. Don't just be a downer and a hater and a naysayer all the time, knocking other people who are trying to make a change. Yeah, maybe their idea is not the best, but do you have something better? Why not use your energy to try to come up with a better idea, instead of just knocking their idea and saying how bad it sucks and it's so stupid or whatever, Well, then what do you have that's better? Why not? If we could just use our energy for that, we could solve the whole world's problems. If people would just make that shift. Be a contributor, not be a builder upper, not a tearer downer. Okay. I want to go talk about a couple of things. First of all, I got my hair cut. I don't know if any of you saw it. I cut off the 12 inches and donated it to. I donated it to Wigs for Kids, because it's a local Ohio thing, but they're both the same. Wigs for Kids is 12 inches, and it goes to create wigs for kids who are going through chemo and cancer. And Locks for Love is another well-known organization. I believe you only have to give 10 inches for that. But it's a really worthy cause. In summertime, a lot of us could use up in the northern hemisphere, use a haircut, and it's a nice thing to go ahead and donate that. And I also wanted to cover real quick for everybody, if you go on my regular Rock and Roll Prophetess page, I've got my VV Creative with lots of music. If there's any artists out there wanting to record in my songs, I would love to have that happen. And the other thing on my main page is it's Vicky Verley, but it's the Learning Songs for Kids channel. Again, revolving around the Green Glen Gang and their, but other stuff. If you have kids, or if you have any tips for me about how to get the Green Glen Gang out there, I would really appreciate that. And on the same note, I do have some holiday songs. If anybody's looking to record a Christmas or holiday album and would like to record one of my songs, I would really love that. And my book is out, Tarot in the Modern World. Great for learning tarot, great for learning how to tie tarot readings together, and nice and easy to understand, just like I speak. Okay, so that's about it. I want to thank everybody for helping me with when I was going through this illness and everything, and donating and liking, and your prayers and your healing energy. I really, really appreciate all of that. Thank you for watching and sharing my videos. You know, the crazy thing about the health thing with me, I figured that just hit me this morning, because I was thinking about the donating the hair thing, and I started doing that like 12 years ago. I donate my hair often. I grow it out and I donate it often. I think I've done it maybe 10 times in the last 12 years. But the thing is, I just thought, 12 years, that's a Jupiter cycle. So that's so crazy. And so if you astrologers out there have any insights to that, and at the time of the hospital, I didn't look up when I had cancer 12 years ago, but at the time of the hospital episode, Jupiter was opposing my Mercury and trining my Venus. So you wouldn't think that that'd be a bad thing. But anytime I think 12 years, it's like, well, that's a Jupiter cycle. So of course there was Uranus and my 6 and other stuff going on, but that was pretty crazy that Jupiter, every 12 years I have this major health crazy thing happen to me. So that was pretty wild. So if you guys have any ideas about that, I'd be interested in hearing that in your comments too. So this is Vicky Verley signing out, and remember, you are love and beauty incarnate, and I'll speak to you soon.